Welcome to the Invention Show. I'm your host, Brian Freed, and our guest today is Jerry Rodriguez. He has an invention called the IntelliPan. Welcome to the show, Jerry.
Thanks for having me, Brian. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's great, and we're excited to hear and learn a little bit more about you and your invention and what the problem was and what the solution is that you came up with, and your journey and where you are today and what the future looks like for IntelliPan. So to start off with, Jerry, why don't you tell us who you are and where you're from and what do you do for a living?
So as Brian mentioned, my name is Jerry Rodriguez, and I'm an entrepreneur and inventor of the product called IntelliPan. I am also a day trader.
Okay. Very nice to again meet you, Jerry. And so here you are. You're a day trader. I don't know how long you've been doing it for, but you're just out there making a living, and all of a sudden you have this aha moment. So what was the problem first that you were having?
Well, to give you a little bit of background, I was overweight. I play video games all day, and I found a passion in fitness. And throughout that whole journey, I realized that the diet part of it was probably the most important thing in losing weight, right? So throughout that process, I got into this thing. It's called tracking calories or tracking macros, which involves weighing your food portions in order to get an accurate count of your calories. So fast forward, I just sat there. I'm like, man, why is there not a pan that has this technology already built in? Like, I went on Amazon, I searched pan with scale, and there was nothing. And sure enough, that's really how the product came about. Essentially, it's solving the problem of having to weigh your food separately before cooking, combining it all into one device.
Very interesting. And I know on top of that, you added the temperature within
That's
the
correct. Yeah, so in the development process, the main focus was the scale component. We were trying to figure out what other technology can we implement to the pan to take advantage of the LED screen. What else can we add? So through those discussions, we decided to add the temperature component. On the screen, you can see the temperature of the pan as well. So you can see the weight of the food or ingredient, and then you can also see the temperature of the pan for those enthusiasts that are interested in knowing how hot their pan is and wanting to cook their food to perfection.
Got it. Well, we're going to hear more about the story of the IntelliPan and how it was developed and where it is today. But you do have your prototype on you, right?
I do. It's right here.
Show us.
Right here. Yeah, this is it. So let's turn on. Let's say hello. And here, what you're seeing, you can't see a whole lot of it, but this is obviously the LED screen, and what you're seeing is a split screen of the temperatures in Celsius, and it switches to Fahrenheit, and then also it has an auto shut off, and then you can see the unit of measurement on the other side, grams, and then you can let me see if we can. Here we go. So that's displaying the weight of the food or ingredient in grams, and it also displays ounces, pounds. And like I mentioned, on the temperature side, you have Fahrenheit and you also have Celsius. So
that's a great looking pen. That looks like, and the name IntelliPan makes it sound very intriguing, along with the way that pen looks. But again, it's a prototype. It's a well done working prototype, which you haven't used, but you know that it works.
It does work. Yes, the LED screen, everything is programmed, and it does work.
Excellent. So Jerry, I'm not sure if everybody actually thinks about measuring or weighing their food and figuring out the temperature, which is kind of interesting in a pan. But maybe you can give us a little bit more insight on why people would want to weigh their food.
Well, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, for me, when I went through my fitness journey, I spent many years just focused on the exercise part of things. For people that just get into exercising, they reach a point where you do your weights, but you plateau. So then you start looking into, well, what else can I do to lose weight or to gain weight? It could go both ways. And for me, it was tracking calories. So tracking what I was eating was really it. Once I started tracking my calories, that's when I saw the biggest result in myself, and it transformed me. I mean, when I was a teenager, I peaked, I think, at 270 pounds. And at my lowest weight through diet alone, I got to, I believe, 169. And that was over like about a 2-year period. So, and it was just tracking my nutrition, tracking my calories, and weighing up my food portions, and then using that information and putting it into an application that allowed me to track what I was eating. And really, I mean, that was it.
And you can tell by the food that you eat how many calories. So let's say I'm buying chicken. I don't necessarily have the calorie intake of the chicken, but you know how many calories X amount of weight of chicken would calculate to be in calories?
Correct. So if you, I don't know if you've ever paid attention to the nutritional facts of, any type of food you're eating. So if you have a box of cookies and you look in the back, you'll see the nutritional facts. Well, if you look within the nutritional facts, it'll tell you, well, 100 grams or 2 cookies equals 100 calories, right? Well, for protein, it's the same. If you have a packet of chicken at home and you turn it over, you'll see the nutritional facts, and it'll say 4 ounces of chicken equals, let's say, 120 calories. Well, now you know that if I have 4 ounces of chicken, I put it on I'll put it on the scale. Now you know that you're within the range of 120 calories. So some food does lose its cooking weight. So there's a little bit of like finagling with the calories, but that's essentially what is it. So if, let's say, you were making pancakes and you followed the instructions on your pancake packet, you can see on the back it'll say 200 grams of this mixture equals 250 calories. So when you're using the pan, you set the scale to grams, you pour in your pancake mixture, stick to the 250 grams, and now you know you're getting about roughly that amount of calories when you are eating the food. So like I said, you get to a point where you do plateau, and then once you get a little bit meticulous on tracking calories, that's when individuals see the most results. And for those people that see those, bodybuilders and fitness enthusiasts and all that, that do the shows and all that stuff, that's what they do. They get to a point where they track everything that they eat to achieve a certain look. And that's essentially, what we're doing here. So,
Jerry, when you came up with this idea of saying, you know what, I need to measure my food and I want to do it in a pan, when you had that aha moment, what did you do at that point?
I actually went to a Tony Robbins event in California, one of his big time events. Like I said, I am making my egg whites. I start weighing the stuff out. Then I have that moment of like, well, why is there not a pan that has this stuff in it? There has to be. I'm like, there's just no way in 2019 at that point that there's not a pan that has like some technology in it. The very first thing that I did was I finished cooking my food, and I sat on my island, pulled out my iPad, and went on Amazon and started looking for smart cooking pans, and found nothing. Then I went on Google, did the same thing, and found nothing. So I was like, okay, I may be onto something here. So on a napkin, I think I still have it at home, I drew what I thought the pan would look like, and it has changed designs multiple times. And the very next day, I looked up companies who specialize in helping startups get off the ground, that specialize in electrical engineering, product design, and all that stuff. I called a few of them and found one that could help me get the design off the ground. And once I started that path, it was off to the races.
And you pretty much knew the features that you wanted to have built in. I'm not sure exactly what you were thinking and what it is today. Like you said, I mean, I have plenty of napkins that have all whatever on it that I can't even think, it starts off one way and it kind of veers. But look, that prototype that you have, if you can hold it up one more time.
Sure.
It's well done. It looks almost like ceramic.
Yeah. This is a ceramic coating. That was also part of what we were trying to do, was to go as free of toxins and parabens and all that stuff off the coating as possible. So that was also very important to us, is to make it as we'll call it in quotes, as healthy as possible to appeal to everybody.
Healthy IntelliPan. So Jerry, now you've gone through. You had that moment. You drew it. You found a company to help you with designing and getting this prototype. I'm sure there was a little bit of a journey in that part of it. It seems like it, magically shows up, but tell us about your experience of developing or designing or inventing your first product like this?
Yeah, so for me, I came from a corporate background, which made it very difficult. My background's in business and corporate training, so absolutely have no experience in this. It was just an idea that I thought of, and I was like, oh, well, what do I do now? And essentially, I just focused on hiring my weakness, right? I'm not a product designer. I'm not an electrical engineer. So what do I do is, look for a company that specializes in all of that. So that's what I did. So first, I started the small route. I went through, I believe it was this company called Upwork, and they essentially have freelancers. I found some people there I found a product designer and an engineer that could help me. It didn't really work out how I wanted. So then I started going up and moving up to like a bigger company, a bigger firm that handles this kind of stuff. And we worked together for about, I believe it was 6 to 9 months. And the design that they assisted me with and the engineering that they assisted me with wasn't what I was looking for. So at that point, I ended up ending our partnership, and I looked for another company. And that company is the one that pretty much assisted me in getting the product to this point. And things changed a significant amount, right? Because there are times where I'm like, I have these ideas of things I want to add to the pan, and we couldn't do it, right? The thing about IntelliPan is that it doesn't exist. We can't really piggyback off of any product and just improve it. This is a first time product. So that alone made it very difficult to work on in the development process.
So here you are, you're an inventor now, right out of the corporate world.
Yeah.
Inventor, going through iterations of your pen, talking to designers and engineers and prototypers. Can you share your experience of going through, actually, it's patent pending?
Patent pending, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
It's patent pending. So tell us about the experience of going through that part of the journey and protecting your intellectual property.
Absolutely. So that was the second part of having the idea and working with a company on the engineering and design was the patent side, right? Interviewed some companies, eventually came to a patent lawyer that was able to assist me to get it to where it needs to get to. That process alone was quite difficult because the design and engineering, it could be fun, right? You come out, you're like, oh, that looks cool, or I want to add this and that. But the patent lingo, you got to know what you're writing on there, right? And you have lots of experience with that, so you know how that works. So it was just more making sure everything was where it needed to be and that the lingo was correct, right? Patent lingo is a little bit different than just a pen with a scale, right?
Jerry, you decided to work with the design house, engineering and prototyping before you knew if your idea was patented or not, or protected, and if you had a chance to actually get a patent on it, right?
Yep.
What was the thought process of that? Because you took a bit of a risk, and you could have made your design and made the prototype and go through all that, and then you did a patent search, and all of a sudden it already exists, and then you have a nice prototype. What was your thinking on that, or did you not know?
No, so that's actually something that we did. So part of my looking for a freelancer in Upwork, I was able to find a trademark specialist or / lawyer who specialized in that. That was actually the very first thing that I did, believe it or not. And I forgot to mention that. And I did that from the hotel during the Tony Robbins event, was have somebody do a patent search for this specific type of product where it was a cooking pan that had an integrated scale in it. We feel we're in a good place with the scale component of the pan.
Okay. So you came up with the idea, you did a patent search, you had some peace of mind to know that if you're working on this, that you're going to have some sort of intellectual property protection. Hopefully you'll have an issued patent. So you worked with the design house, engineering, prototyping, and you filed a provisional patent application, right? So that'll give you the right for 1 year to say you're patent pending while you're exploring the market. So you have a great prototype. You have kind of the way that you want it to work and how it should look. You have a nice looking website. Let's pull up the website. Let's take a look. There it is. Okay. So why don't you give us a quick rundown of what your website's about? And you have a great website, Nate. You have IntelliPan.com.
Yeah, so that's our website, IntelliPan.com. You'll find all the information that you need about the product on there. As soon as you go into the website, the very first thing you see is our product video. which is very neat. I highly recommend that you at least take the time and watch the video. It showcases how the product works. And it showcases how the product works, which is really neat. And you'll find some images there. You'll find a little bit of my story at the very top. And that's pretty much it.
Very nice. Here's the video that you were saying. So people who are watching, our audience, you can go to IntelliPan.com. Easy enough. You're patent pending,
Right.
and now you are at the fork in the road of saying, is this something that I want to manufacture, where I'm going to find a factory to make it, sell it on Amazon and eBay, and maybe get into some major retail stores? What's your vision? Or is it something that you are considering to license, where you find a company that already manufactures pens, possibly, and see if they'd be interested in adding your intellectual property, your pen, into their product line, and they would manufacture it, distribute it, and you would earn a royalty? That's most of the time how it works. So where are you at, Jerry?
That's exactly where I'm at right now. So the goal from here on out is to license a product, and that's mainly because of the costly part of developing this product. Once you go into trying to handle your own manufacturing and go in that route, it gets very, very expensive. So I was able to get the product to a really good place. I'm a very small fish in this giant pond of cookware. So I figured that it would probably be best to license the product to a company that has the capability to take this to the next level.
Okay. Now, when you said that it was very expensive to manufacture, when you're saying something like that, because I've had a chance to work with people and they've had expectations that the pricing was exorbitant, and it might be different than what I might find as a price to be able to produce something like that. So why would you say that it's really expensive to manufacture?
Yeah, so you're cutting out a little bit, but I got the question. So
Okay.
in our research, when we interviewed a couple of companies out west in China, what we found is that our hiccup was that being that this product does not exist, it made it very difficult when it came to the tooling and all that stuff that goes along with that. And it's mainly because of the tech. If you go look at the China route and you just say, hey, I want a 10-inch frying pan, you could get it for like $1. It's not a problem. But once you start adding the technology to it, that's where it starts to get a little bit on the costly side. And it's because there's just nothing like it. You have to make different parts. You have the electronics within the pan, which is, there's no product out there that has electronics on pan. So that's really, that was the main reason why.
Okay. So here you are. You have CAD files done. You have a great working prototype. You have a great attitude. You have proof that weighing food is something that can help people to manage their diet and to manage their food intake. And some people could be very into it. Some people are trying all different ways to be able to lose weight. And here you are, that you came up with a pan that has an integrated weighing system and also the temperature. Now, the temperature, there's products and there's pans out there that already have temperature, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So how we're differentiating ourselves from those products is that what we found is any product that has any type of technology out there, whether it's a smart cooking pan or not or whatever, the main hiccup that they have is that they work through Bluetooth, and they require some type of application in order to see the data. Let's say another company has IntelliPan. The example there would be that you would need to download the IntelliPan app, put the food in, look at the phone, and be like, okay, or the iPad, and say, okay, 100 grams, great. I took that completely out of everything, and all of the data that you see is all going to be displayed directly on the handle of the pan. There's no applications, no other accessories needed. It's a one and done. It's all right there for you.
So if a company did license it and wanted to create an app, they wouldn't necessarily have to do it where they're controlling the food intake or it's connecting. Maybe it's something, an extension of, or there's probably plenty of apps already out there that weigh and keep track of your food intake.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So the main application that's out there that tracks your calories, for example, it's called MyFitnessPal. Extremely popular, has over 300 million users in it. I could see sometime in the future where this product connects to that application, and once you weigh your food, it automatically inputs the data into the app, so you can eliminate that step. And yeah, so I mean that there's many possibilities with this product when you add that kind of stuff. And even on the LED screen, there's some other things that we were looking into as far as like sounds, timers. So, let's say you're cooking something and you want a 20-minute timer. We can do that on there. It can make a beep when it's done. When it's let's say you turn the pan on high and you walk away, it can start beeping when it reaches 350 degrees. There are all kinds of things we can do with the tech in this pan.
And one final question about the pen, IntelliPan.
Sure.
What happens with there's a battery built in? Is that what you propose? Now, again, Jerry, you're considering to license it, so there might be some other iterations of the way that they would propose that it work and function. But for now, you've done enough research to know what the situation is with the battery, or do you plug it in to recharge it?
So we looked at both options. We looked at the battery option. We also looked at the rechargeable battery option. Both options are on the table. So it really depends, looking at the user experience, what they would like, right? Some people would be like, oh, I don't want to keep replacing the batteries. And then some people would be like, I'm not going to charge a pan in my kitchen. Like, I want to clean it and put it away. I don't want this thing sitting on the stove charging or whatever. So what we found is that you go in the battery route. Batteries could last up to 6 months from the testing that we did. So that's where we're at right now, but open to either option. So it's definitely really what the user wants here. Either option could work.
You're on this journey, Jerry. I know that you've been attempting to reach out to companies that may consider licensing the rights to your intellectual property, your patent pending IntelliPan, the name you have trademarked, the website, the domain name, IntelliPan.com. You've put your assets together, ready to package it, and the CAD files are done. So it could be very attractive to a company that is in the space, or maybe not in the space, may be involved with tracking calories or knowing what the food temperature is, or a combination of both, or timing. There's a lot of variables and features that you have built in, but the main one that you're proposing is to count the calories. So hopefully you find a company that is the right time for them and put it in their pipeline, and kind of know that they have a good start with where you are today with what you've done. So congratulations to this point.
Thank you.
Jerry, there are inventors that are watching and listening to you. There are people that just came up with an idea. Maybe they've come up with an idea in the past. Everybody's at some point come up with an idea. The question is, who really stops to take action with their idea? But for the people that are listening out there and watching, Jerry, you're on your journey here. Give us some words of wisdom to people that are starting or somewhere in the middle. Maybe they're at the same spot where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is that, be prepared for the journey. It's definitely not easy. For me, I came from a corporate background, not knowing anything about inventing a product. And boy, did I learn on this journey, things that I never would have thought in a million years that I would learn in this journey. So beyond that, be prepared that it could be expensive, depending on what, your idea is. There are some ideas that could be very simple, not as costly, and all of that stuff. But if your idea is a little bit more intricate, it's unique, it requires technology, and it's something that has never been done before, well, the research part of it is going to be probably a little bit longer, because you can't look at another product to try to piggyback off of that idea and look for ways to make it better. You're essentially the one that's creating it from the very first time. So there may be a lot of time involved in the research part of it. Be prepared that it's going to be a bit expensive. And if I get stuck, start looking for those experts that are good in that area. So that's one thing that helped me significantly, was hire your weaknesses. You're not going to know everything, but there's people that specialize in that area that you're not very good at. I'm not an electrical engineer. I am not a product designer. And here we are sitting here with this prototype. There's an expert for everything, just like Brian.
Show us one more time, Jerry. Show us the prototype and just show us quickly, push a couple buttons. Let us see how it works.
Oh, don't let me down. So right now what you're seeing is the temperature over here. That's in Celsius. And then what are we looking at? Grams on the other side. That's a split screen view. So now from split screen, it goes directly to the weight, which is displayed in grams. Now that is in ounces. And here we got pounds. And that's pound and ounces. So essentially, if you're a person that has used a digital scale, think of your digital scale at home that you bought from Amazon, same exact features, but they're integrated into the pan. So you can eliminate that step of weighing the food separately to then cook it. It's all in one. No need to use an extra plate or any of that stuff. And let me see if I can get the temperature display.
You're a natural pitch man, Jerry.
Yeah, and here is the temperature. I believe that's the temperature in this room. They said it does say 74 on the thermostat, but you can see the temperature here. And that's in Celsius too. So you have both options. So like I said, you can view the temperature on its own or the weight on its own, or you can see it in the split screen, which let me see if I can, there we go. And here's that split screen again. So if you're interested in both, you can do that as well.
Jerry, we wish you all the best. We hope that you come back to Got Invention show and tell us the success story. Hopefully somebody out there, me, you, we can all buy it for the reason that you came up with it. Thank you so much for being a guest on our show. Great story, great journey. Hopefully it ends the way that you want. We wish you all the best, Jerry.
Thank you. Please, once again, check the website, IntelliPan.com. Our Instagram is @IntelliPan, and then my direct Instagram, if you have any questions on my journey, it's @JerryRodriguez.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Okay, and if you'd like to be a guest on the Got Invention show, you can go to gotinventionshow.com. Thank you, everybody. When you have your big idea, keep it moving forward. Do your research, do your due diligence, and make it happen, just like Jerry did. And hopefully we'll see success from his and your invention as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again on the next Got Invention show.